does happen.
Well, we're not going to see what most people are expecting. That's for sure. I can guarantee you that, because most people looking at the weights and saying, oh, they're too far apart. Canelo's too big. No, we're not going to see what y'all think we're going to see. We're going to see a...
Canelo, what did you think about the shove, that moment that happened on stage?
Wow. I'm turning on right now.
Right? Yeah. Did it make you want to go harder for the 13?
I don't know, but made me feel more excited.
Love it.
I'm gonna train so far.
Does happen. Well, we're not going to see what most people are expecting. That's for sure. I can guarantee you that. Because most people looking at the weights and saying, oh, they're too far apart. Canelo is too big. No, we're not going to see what y'all think we're going to see. We're going to see a Canelo. What did you think about the shove in that moment that happened on stage? No. I'm turning on right now. Right. Yeah. Make you want to go harder for the 13? I don't know. But maybe made me feel more excited. I love it. I'm going to train so far. Roy Jones just got done training with Crawford, and from what he can see, Canelo's going to sleep. That's not a casual comment either. It's the conclusion of one of boxing's greatest tacticians after watching Terence Crawford jonnered up close sparring, moving, punching, adapting. Jones got to see how much weight Crawford has put on and how much the weight has affected him. But after the session, he admitted that Crawford's power and speed. He believes Crawford has all the tools of knocking Canelo out. Seen it all. But what he saw in Crawford was different. He didn't hesitate to say that Crawford, already elite, is still sharpening his tools. For a fighter that already sits at the top of the pound-for-pound list, that kind of refinement is dangerous. Roy didn't just drop platitudes. He said what he saw, and he's convinced that Canelo won't be able to handle it. If anyone knows what it takes to jump divisions and make history, it's Roy. On the streets, you and Canelo, what would it look like? Come on, man. Y'all know what I do. I ain't got to talk about it on the streets. I'm me against anybody. I ain't never going to say another man going with me. So, you know what I mean? That's your answer right there. I guess in Guadalajara, you think it'd be a little different on the streets if Terence came to town? I think every city, every place is different, huh? It's different. But we don't talking about the streets. We're talking about boxing. This tone from Roy Jones adds even more pressure to a fight that was already being discussed as potentially one of the defining moments of the decade. Crawford is not easing into the spotlight. He's striding straight into it and bringing the fire with him. That showed when Canelo Alvarez recently requested that their bout be held in a smaller ring. It was a clear attempt to limit Crawford's movement, likely anticipating that Bud would want to box and use angles rather than stand still and trade with someone naturally heavier. But instead of deflecting or brushing it off, Crawford lit the fuse and fired right back. I go back and forwards, to be honest with you. Like when I talk to Bud, I kind of like he convinces me that he's going to win the fight cause he's such a believer in his own ability and he's very convincing. And then you see the presser yesterday and I thought Canelo looked really well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously he's a big lump. So I was always Canelo, then I sort of leant towards Bud, but now I'm back with Canelo. So we'll see. The only running that I'll be doing, Crawford said at a recent press conference, is running upside his head. And he's got a big head, too. It was a clean shot, more comedic than hostile, but layered with intent. Crawford wasn't going to shy away from the idea of aggression. In fact, he flipped the narrative. Crawford didn't laugh off the idea of a smaller ring. He embraced the challenge and declared exactly what his intentions were. I'm hunting him, he added. I'm hunting everything that he's got and I'm going to take it. Come September 13th, among the era that surpassed us, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the Del Hoya, we both came up in that era and he was right there with those fighters and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cotto, the Floyd Mayweathers, and the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those mega fights, So, this is my mega fight. This is my moment. And that's the reason why I want to fight all-time great like Canelo. These aren't just bold words. They're calculated from someone who's never been in a losing corner. Crawford's resume is airtight: 41 with 31 knockouts. A 4-weight world champion who just added a super welterweight belt to his collection after beating Israel Madrimov. That was a unanimous decision win, sure, but one that added another division to his growing legacy. Now he's jumping 2 more weight classes, aiming directly at the undisputed champion in a 5th. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez is coming off one of the most underwhelming performances of his career. His unanimous decision win over William Skull was tepid at best. I'm going with Terence Crawford, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect to Canelo, but I might have said this the last couple. I am not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat me. Over 12 rounds, the two combined for a mere 445 punches thrown, a record low in a major title fight. It wasn't just uneventful. It was the kind of performance that raises questions. Not about Canelo's past, which is filled with spectacular wins, but about his present. He's no longer the aggressive counter-puncher who stalks opponents with creative pressure. Against Skull, he was flat, risk-averse, almost like a fighter more focused on staying sharp than doing damage. Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo? I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he low Terence Crawford when he went up against the best opposition like Earl Spence. He showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong. Could you still make 68? I want to make 68. No, I don't. Terence wins 68. Yeah. Well, if that's yeah. Yeah. I can make 168. That's a dangerous version of Canelo to bring into a fight with Crawford, who thrives off opponents that sit still or slow down. Crawford's style is reactive, surgical, and venomous when triggered. If Canelo is even half a step slow or unwilling to throw in high volume, Bud won't hesitate to dominate. But it's not just about style matchups anymore. The build-up to this fight has been intensifying with every press conference. In New York, things escalated fast when Crawford approached Canelo on stage. Canelo responded by shoving him, prompting both entourages to rise in security to intervene. This wasn't manufactured drama. It was instinctual, emotional, and unfiltered. There's a real tension here fueled by contrasting personalities and decades of legacy colliding. It's cool. Well, is there a champion? I'm going to fight another elite. There is a champion, good fighters, but elite fighters is different. Wait. So, I'm going to fight an elite fighter in September. Yeah. Okay. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. And don't get me wrong, you're a great fighter. I know I'm great. You're a great fighter. You're going to find out. I hope your uncle Talashi pay you enough money because it's going to be the last. That's for sure. It may be. It may be. Maybe. I hope he pay you enough. But, after fighters fight me, they never the same. So, I just hope your career continue. If you look at my career, never. Both men have conquered 4 weight divisions. Both are undisputed champions. Both are aiming to leave Las Vegas on September 13th with more than just another belt. Crawford sees this as his chance to be immortalized, to erase any lingering doubts and carve his name above even the most celebrated welterweights and lightweights in history. Canelo with his February 2nd, 63 record and 39 knockouts is trying to silence the wave of commentary that he's past his peak happened in boxing. You know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that are favor is that is his weight. Yeah. And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But, Crawford is a legend, bro. And like I said, you can't count him out. You know what I'm saying? Music, Bernard Hopkins, another legend who's worked closely with Canelo in the past, especially during the Golden Boy era. Initially, Hopkins thought the idea of Crawford challenging Canelo was irresponsible. That's ridiculous, he said. That's why we have weight classes. He went on to question Crawford's motivation, even suggesting that the bout could be dangerous for him physically. The others say no, that's 2 more weight classes. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different. I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, So, I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before it gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a legend. It's just so much. But Hopkins has now completely reversed that stance. In a more recent interview, he said Crawford has a legitimate chance, putting it at 85%. That's not cautious.